I realized the power of networking when I decided to learn English. English is not my first language, and 7 years ago, I couldn't speak it at all.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
It was 2018, I was 22 years old, and I decided, you know what? Enough is enough. I have to learn it, and I have to do it quickly. However, there was a problem. When you're learning a language, you need an external help, right? Other people who already know the language, who could correct you, who could talk to you, who could answer your questions. Because if you're going to make mistakes, you will not know if you made a mistake or not, right? So you need someone who knows it on a decent level, and can correct you. For this, people usually hire teachers. But guess what? When you're 22 years old, you don't have money. You're broke as fuck. And because I couldn't afford any English-speaking teachers, I decided to act differently. I decided to use the power of networking. I found right people who were English native speakers, made right connections with them, and they were talking to me every single day, and they were correcting my mistakes, answering my questions, completely for free. And then I realized that I can use this approach in other situations as well. So in this video, you will learn why usual ways of networking doesn't work, and the easy strategy to network effectively without wasting your time. My name is Nikita, and here I talk about practical communication tips for everyday life. Without further ado, let's roll. So let's talk about the old way of networking, the usual advice how you network with others. First of all, you start meeting new people, because network is your net worth. You put your effort and energy into getting more and more connection with the others. You're smiling, try to start a small talk with them, even when you don't want to do that. You don't get any tangible results. You think that this is just a waste of time, and you quit. And the reason why it's not effective is because this is a GIC strategy. GIC stands for just in case. You meet those people and you make connections with the people just in case that this might somehow work in the future. And if you think about it, it's very, very similar to how you study some subjects at school. You know that you have to put a lot of effort and study chemistry, you know, that you will never use in real life, study biology, physics, math, right? Putting lots of effort into studying some subjects that maybe, just in case, somewhere in the future, you might need them. Where in reality, of course, you don't. This just-in-case strategy of networking might work for some people. For instance, if you're a journalist, politician, some sort of a spy, yeah. But for regular folks, no. So if you want to network effectively, you need to change your approach. You need to use a GIT strategy. And GIT strategy stands for just in time. Basically, you start networking with people who you need right now. It's way, way more similar how you learned in adulthood. For instance, you got a new promotion, got a new job, and you need to learn how to sell. Right? Because before that, you do not have any experience in selling. So you go to the training, learn selling, and now you learn how to sell and you start using it in your everyday life at work. So this is just-in-time learning. Before that, you didn't need that, now you need it, you learn it, and you use it. So let's talk about how to network with others using this GIT methodology. First of all, what you need to figure out is the what. What stands for what is your goal? In just-in-time approach, you do not network randomly. First of all, you figure out what you want to achieve. The goal depends on your current situation in life. Maybe you want to lose weight, and for this you need acquaintances who can help you with this. Or maybe you want to find a significant other. Maybe you feel lonely and you just need two friends. Or maybe you need other people who can help you with your career. In my experience, my goal was to learn English. I broke down this goal in a couple of segments. First of all, I need someone who I could practice with. I can talk to them, they can talk to me, right? And I would improve my speaking. I needed someone who could correct my mistakes. Because obviously when you're learning a language that you do not know, you will be making mistakes, and you will need someone who will correct your mistakes so you will learn the right English, not the wrong one. And also the fourth thing is that, you know, some sort of a motivational people. When you're surrounding yourself with people who want to achieve the same goal, you motivate them, they motivate you, right? And you're kind of going to your goals together. And now, once you have your clear goal, instead of meeting other people just in case, now you start meeting the right people just in time. And now you're ready for the next step. And the next question is, who? Well, of course, not everyone will be able to help you. Different people are good at different things. It's not that those people are bad or something, but sometimes when you have a goal, there's some people who just do not have the right connections or the right knowledge, who cannot be in any use to you with this specific goal. So after you realize what type of goal you want to achieve, the next question is, who are those people that can help me to achieve that? And you can find those people in two circles. The first circle of people is people who you already know. Maybe there are some acquaintances or some people who already have experience in this field, or you know that they know someone who have experience in this field. If so, great. You don't need to go outside. You don't need to meet new people, be in this stressful situation. You can just ask them and use their experience. However, when I was learning English, in my situation, I didn't really have people like that, to be honest. So when I was asking the question who, first of all, I thought about people, in my friends group who also were learning English. I talked to them, but they already achieved this goal, so they didn't really want to practice with me. They were, a couple of steps ahead in their journey. So that's fine, no problem. So I had to go to the second group of the people you don't know yet. So first of all, I needed to find other students who want to learn English so we could connect, motivate each other, and moving towards the goal together. Other people that I needed is there were people who I could ask for advice, maybe some sort of a teachers or something like that. And the third group of people that I needed were native speakers. People who I could just talk to and practice my English. Because you cannot learn language only by the books, right? You need to go, you need to practice, you need to test it. And of course, the easiest way to learn, like the fastest way, is to talk to the native speaker. And once you know what your goal is and who those people are who can help you, the next question that you ask yourself is where? Where can I find those people? I'm pretty sure that people that you need also roaming the streets. But just going and asking every single one of them, making connection, just in case, it happens that they might help you to achieve their goal, well, I don't really think that this is the right approach. So what you need to do right now is that you need to figure out where you can find those people. And nowadays, we're lucky. Because only 30 years ago, the only place where you could meet people like that was only offline. So you needed either to move to a specific city or to go to a specific club, specific meetings, exhibitions, things like that, where you could actually find like-minded people. But right now, we have this awesome thing that is called the internet. And you can find those people on platforms like Reddit, Discord, Twitter, Instagram, maybe Facebook groups, etc. So back in the days, I lived in a small city called Energodar. In that city, only 50,000 people lived. And obviously, yeah, there were probably some people who knew English, but I decided not to go there. This was not my approach. I decided to find people online. Yeah, probably offline I could find some students and maybe even some teachers, but I definitely wouldn't find native speakers. This is a small town in the middle of Ukraine, very far from large cities. So what is the chance that some American or Brit would stop in a forsaken place like that? Zero. So I decided to act differently. I decided to find those people on the internet, specifically on Discord. I found different Discord servers like, hey, let's learn English together, or, learn English. Well, I don't really remember exactly because it was in 2018, but I think I found something around 4 or 5, and then, picked the best 2 that I liked the most. And there were different people, right? Some people were nice, some people were not nice, some people were just trolls. But once you found those people, the next question is, how? How are you going to connect with them? Because communication is always exchange. When you have a goal and you're networking with people, is that you want them to help to achieve your goal. The question is, what can you offer them? And I'm not saying only money. However, of course, it also works. Well, however, not in my case, because like I said, I was 22 years old and broke as fuck. But I needed the way to find connection with them. I needed the way to find something that I can offer. And like I said, to make this connection, you need to have something in common. You can have common goals. The same thing that you want to achieve, they want to achieve it as well. You can have common hobbies. You like to spend your time this way, and they also like to spend their time this way. So for instance, going to the gym together. You can have common entertainment. You both like to spend free time in the same way. Or you have common friends. You know one guy, you're talking to them. This person also knows this guy. You're talking, and now you can hang out together. You basically just need some sort of a reason how you can connect with them. So how it was in my situation. In these different Discord groups, we had different type of people. Some people were students, right? They were also learning English. So we had with them common goals. Well, they couldn't really help me with English grammar or something. However, what they could do is that we could talk to each other, hang out, and motivate ourselves together in order to achieve this big goal that one day we will learn English. However, there were also other group of people that I had way more interested in. And those people were English native speakers. They were basically the perfect fit for me because they knew English perfectly. They could correct me, they could answer my questions, they could help me, and also they could talk to me. In real life, when you hire a teacher who's a native speaker, you need to pay this guy every single hour, and the hour would cost something like $25 or $50 an hour. And in Ukraine, the usual salary is something around $300. $300 a month, $50 an hour. As you can see here, it's pretty expensive. All right, great. So what could I offer them? What can I find something that we have in common? And turned out that those things were video games. Back in those days, I was an avid video gamer. I played video games a lot. So I found some native speakers that also like to play video games. And what happened is that one day I suggested, hey, let's play together. You don't have to correct my mistakes, you don't have to do anything. Let's just hang out. So I started hanging out with them. We started just talking about different topics. We started playing video games together, things like that. And I was constantly talking to them. I was having a great time playing video games, but I also was improving my listening skills because I was listening to them talking to me. I also was improving my speaking skills, talking to them, and I really was playing video games and talking to them every single day for like 3 hours a day, and I was practicing my speaking skills very, very quickly. And if I had a question about grammar, I could just easily ask him, hey man, can you help me with that? And he's like, yeah, sure, no problem. This is actually how to do it the right way, or this is how you say it the right way, right? And things like that. Other people needed to pay a lot of money for that. I was getting all of this help completely for free because I had something in common with them, right? We were playing games, hanging out, having fun. But for me, it also was a useful connection. I also here want to say that I was not really faking friendship. It's not like I hated them or something. No, they were great guys, right? We still talk to them. I was just basically having fun, talking to those people, playing video games, and also was improving my English skills. So once I defined the clear goal that I want to learn English, once I identified who those people are who can help me, the next thing is that I identify where I can find them, and I realized how I can make the connection with them. So we could talk, hang out, and I could practice. I learned English and became fluent in 1 year. So use this framework and achieve your goals by using experience of others. And when you meet these people for the first time, the first thing that you need to do, you need to start a small talk with them, just to get to know them better. But how to do the small talk the right way? Well, I talked how to do that in this video. My name is Nikita, and I'll see you next time.